What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 11 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Wulfrik Immortal Empires campaign. So as we saw last time, Wulfrik faced off against Archaon the Everchosen and destroyed both Archie and his army with pretty decent ease. I guess that's the problem when you only allow Dorgar to take the form of a horse rather than whatever. For example, there's no reason that Dorgar couldn't have taken the form of a mammoth and we could get some good old-fashioned mammoth on mammoth action. But anyway, I digress. We have also declared war on Clan Ferik, so there's still a little bit to do here, but once we're done with Archie and all of this, it's time at last to set sail. Hopefully when we do, we will have the tier 4 up here at Doomkeep and whatever, and can get a few more champion units in Wulfrik's army for his long journey down to Skeggy. Though we do move faster by the sea. Now between the episodes I did a couple of these little minor garbage battles, but I saved this one, A, because it isn't actually a battle and it is an auto-resolve, and B, because we're just a little bit short of the Crow's favor. But it's not the actual buffs that we need to see, but the fact that we, Hamathane Frost, auto-resolve, and raise for the Crow. Not the Luckstone. Well, where the heck are you going, dude? Okay, well, you got a Barbarian, you got an Earthing Rod, you got some Dragonbone Raiders, you killed some jerks, and that's why. Short victory achieved with that, because the thing that we were waiting on was the second level of any of the gods. Of course, the second level of the Crow is also nice, because it gives us additional casualty or punishment rate, and growth, and a little bit of armor. Pretty much everything that we've been hankering for. So Nurgle is pretty darn decent. I do think that the stuff offered by Tzeentch is also pretty insane. Just the barrier alone is gonna be crazy. And yeah, well, we'll get into more of the gods' gifts as we are now starting to move into the whole raise everything around us sort of situation. This gives us an additional hero capacity +1 of each and +5 power reserve per turn, which might help at least a few armies actually get their magics to where they need to be. We've had a few problems with that throughout the campaign with every army except for Wulfrik's, including Cirtha X here. Actually, speaking of Cirtha Ek, you're currently in Raiden camp, which gives you additional casualty. Yeah, no, we should probably still make use of it. I was wondering whether we should go regular raiding instead for the additional magics, but now they're on the rise, and so it ain't so bad no more. Anything else we need to do this particular turn? Ormgard Agnarsson. You are going to move out here. I'm going to hope that there isn't a Skaven army nearby, and even if there is, Elmador Demenzork will hopefully deal with them. At least we'll see. Alright. And Olaf Fimerkin, I guess since this is raised, you can start moving, but I think you'll also stay in Raiden camp because, yeah, you're taking quite a bit of effort. I still haven't decided whether we should go for doggos in his army or for the Marauder horsemen. I just want to see whether the horses get the Worm Piercer ammunition or not. Because if that is the case, it might be more worthwhile than to use the acclaimed hunter buff. On the other hand, I'm not entirely sure that it's super worth it to have 2 units or 2 armies led by Pathfinders just to get the hunter thing up and running. I don't know, I'll think about it. Flow Battle, the Bloodthirst, we got Frenzy. Let's see. Well, they're okay, and the only issue is you can't dedicate them to anybody. If we could dedicate this guy to Khorne, for example, that would probably be swell. Between the speed offered and the fairly decent stats that he can get for melee and range, I think that would be nice, especially with the combination of the doggos. In lieu of, you know, flesh hounds. But anyway, for now, we are looking okay. Wulfrik is good, and I do believe we've no buildings to build, so we can end the turn and see what happens here. Elspeth can't reach Cirtha. We're going to try to use heroes to essentially act as bait. Let's see. Outposts available, building upgrade available. We could build a few outposts if we'd like to. Let me just see here. So the Tallymen still don't have anything good. Oh, we also have missions. Oh, I'm glad I looked here. Ally missions. Rapon Sand. Okay, everybody wants us to kill whoever this is. Probably because... You're all at war with Elspeth, but none of you have a mission for Elspeth? That's a little bit odd. Wait, Elspeth is at war with you guys, right? Yes, she is. Okay, you know what? We're gonna give it a turn. Maybe they'll give us a mission for Elspeth rather than whoever's down there instead. As for outposts, this is what, gonna cost us 12,000 gold. Well, our gold is in pretty decent shape. Maybe we'll give it a turn or two and see, because it could be depleted very, very quickly as we're about to build a bunch of Fimir and split a couple of armies off. Anyway, it's on the turn. And let's see what happens. Alright, raiding ourselves. Astrogoth wants a defensive alliance, and no, because to try to vassalize you, we should try to keep away from the stuff. I saw raiding. Did I see wounded, or was that... I guess we'll see. I don't see anything wounded here. Maybe it was just the raiding thing. Alright, also while the turn is ending, unfortunately we did not reach the engagement threshold last time around. Well actually like 3 episodes ago, because I'm not looking at the last episode so much as multiple episodes back, so that people have a chance to catch up. But anyway, because we didn't reach it, as you may have noticed, I didn't post an episode of Wulfrik yesterday, so rather than post the single, shorter, half-an-hour episode, I decided to skip the day and post the longer episode today. That said, the threshold remains for the daily longer episodes at 400 likes and 60 comments. Warhammer the one I destroyed, meaning they will have lost their Nemesis crown to Carl. Okay, well, that decides it, folks. We're going to have Wulfrik kill Carl. And then take the Nemesis crown from him, unless, I don't know, he loses it to Festus or somebody. It's also a distinct possibility. Technology researched, smashing the Ogre Kingdoms, giving us melee attack. Good. Alright, and our money situation is still okay. Clan Ferric. Oh. Astrogoth is going for tribe slaughter. I wonder what's at Karak Dum. Would Astrogoth be able to... He's going here, clearly. I don't think he'd be able to reach Karak Dum. We might be able to go from Doom to tribe slaughter in a single bound, unlike him, however. Meaning it might be safer to grab tribe slaughter and then move backward to Karak Dum and then move through the Pillars of Skulls and whatnot. Yeah, alright, we'll do that. You're gonna go to tribe slaughter, Wolfie. There's Buck the Lethal. Oh, you know what, maybe... okay, I probably shouldn't have done that. I probably should have let Astrogoth go for it. He probably would have either died or fought these guys, but anyway. Well, not a big deal. Auto-resolve this. A little bit of damage, but, well, honestly, if it baits the Skaven into attacking us, that's not such a bad thing. I think since we're keeping this territory, we won't sack it. Which means we could take it at tier 2. And I think any of the newer territories can start with growth rather than money making. Scroll of Blast, another Bearsenling Berserker, and here we will build... Well, I guess it still has to be the money thing. Alright, then, we know that these guys are too far away. Oh man, do we risk Wormguard? I want to move him close enough to Karak Dum so that he can hopefully attack it. Alright, I'm gonna risk it. Oh man, the ambush chance... One does grow here. I'm gonna put him right here, and I'm gonna hope nobody knows he's here, because then maybe if Wulfrik can't reach this place, which by the looks of it he's gonna be just a bit short, we can use Wormguard to take it. Don't die, buddy. Really hoping he doesn't die, because I want to keep this drunken brawler trait. Anyway, that looks good to me. Who is up next? Slith Wallbreaker. We're gonna pop you into not raid camp, just into regular in camp. Pop you into Navkazi and then build you some units, namely a bunch of additional Fimir. Oh man, they are expensive to build, but what can you do? And it's going to be Stalkers for now, because we still don't have access to Warriors, because we haven't gotten to that point yet. Surtha, where is Elspeth? Alright, she's moved back into Marienburg. That's not the worst thing in the world. You're going to go into ambush, wherever it's 70%, so right here in our territory. And we're gonna put... How far can Elspeth go? Pretty far. We're gonna put Heros right here. I mean, I guess we could put you right here and start raiding enemy territory. Maybe that'll piss Elspeth off more. Like so. I don't actually know whether the ambush has to be in front or not, but I guess we'll find out. You just stay there, Surtha. I don't want to go into this territory with ambush, because the ambush success chance will be significantly lower. And we're trying to make Elspeth fall for this, as we probably would have a difficult time otherwise fighting Boris and Elspeth and the garrison in Marienburg. At the very least, it would seem so. Stig Aisling. You're kind of stuck where you are. I'm actually going to put you here beside Ormgard. I mean, who knows? If it's a garbage Skaven stack and they get attacked, then maybe they'll both get attacked together and maybe survive. I mean, if it's not full of storm vermin and plague monks, which I don't think they can take care of. We shall see. Alright, you guys go. Surtha already did Throggy. You, sir, are... What do we have at Karak Raziak here? We'll want to raise it for the crow again, just to keep bumping it up. And what's the likelihood this heavily damages our troll line? It might heavily damage our... You know what? Nonetheless. Auto-resolve it, don't screw us on this game. Yeah, a little bit of damage to the Cold Voider, but the trolls are fine. You know what? I think I'll take that. It's not so bad. A raise for the crow. And summons. Alright, Shrieking Blade for you. And another Fear of Varamar. Actually, I don't remember whether this Fear of Varamar is... Actually, I don't remember which campaign the other Fear of Varamar was. I mean, we've got Fears of Varamar in many campaigns, but yeah. Anyway, you can stay here. And I guess raid, well, it doesn't really do much, but it does make your army cheaper. Lamondal, you have to get towards Throggy. So let's put you into raiding camp as well. It'll buff you up a little bit if you have to fight, but move past Nagenhof. And we're going to send Throg to Castle Drakenhof, as it is another thing that we gotta do here. Plus, capacity for Skinwolf Werekin, and we're gonna want multiple Werekin in the Cornate army, both to move fast and to buff up the doggos. If we're going to get the Castle Drakenhof thing anyway, we should probably get Ruination of the Vampire counts, like so. Also keeping our plunder down, which ain't too bad. At least until we need to build lots and lots of plunder structures. Hamathane Frost and Olaf Fimerkin. Olaf, you're going northward through the mountains to destroy Kislev for good. And Hama, you're going to keep on following... I mean, yeah, you're going to keep following Olaf, you're fine. Go into raiding, follow him along. And Knut Hilmarsson. Once again, I'm still on the fence as to whether we need one of these guys in Olaf's army. Can you guys swap a single unit for now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, lose one of the hunters. This is you. Because this guy's not healing and the rest are. And then we'll pop you into this army. For now. If we swap them out, once again, it depends on whether we get Worm Piercer ammunition on these guys or not. Just gotta keep an eye on their damage dealt possibility. Once we hit up to a rank 10, which should be on the approach relatively soon. Alright, rest of that looks good to me. Tech Thief, go find some tech to thief. I wish we had more capacity for these guys, but we just need to get to higher tiers of buildings first. Slith Hastling, you are moving this way. I was originally going to put Slith into the army of Olaf. Fimerkin, makes sense. But also, I do notice that you have esteemed Dirach, and the character aura leadership effect is something that Throggy wants for his low leadership trolls, so considering he has 2 Fimir that have the deranged mind and thus the unstoppable charge for Fimir, which doesn't stack, we'll give one of them to Morkaka. That makes more sense to me. And the rest of that looks good. Alright, let's take a quick look at Diplo, a quick look at buildings, and end the turn and see what we can see. Cool want to trade, but yeah, that's not happening. Disciples of Hashut. How's that vassalage looking on you? Minus 98. Okay, it keeps decreasing. I'm not entirely sure why. Maybe it's because we're destroying their enemies. Warhost of the Apocalypse wants peace now, but they don't want to be our vassal. I fear that Archaon must be destroyed, which is a shame because he's generally a fairly powerful faction. Like, he does good work across the map. But no, we have not much of a choice in the matter. I mean, obviously we could peace out with him, but I feel like, oh, hello. He's actually done us a favor. If these guys capture this, or if we capture this, we can trade it back to the, Cornate faction to give them the province. Especially considering there's a bunch of stuff we want from the Cornate, sort of, units. Anyway, looks good to me. Let's do building, let's proceed. Trollheim Mountains, Bay of Blades, let's upgrade you right now. Giant Home Mountains, Sjoktrekken, and the Slavers Camp as well. Let's get you that and the Offering to Slaughter. And what do we have here? More ports, always more ports. Beautiful. And then more of these fur stashes. really use the upgrade to tier 3 here, but it's coming. It's coming. Growth's a little slow in the early game. Raiders camp for you. Once again, keeping that plunder down. Marches of Kuran. Let's go for that port upgrade, and let's go for the defensive upgrade. And then lastly, the Cursed City. More growth, and... I mean, we're not looking to collect money out of these places, out of Prague and Kislev and whatnot. We're looking to make them into sort of capacity locations. Thus, the Unholy Site and the House of the Shunned are the way to go. And we do need more Skinwolf Fimir and Balefiend and Werekin capacity, so we're going to start with you. Even though we are already building one, I think, here in Volksgrad, or at least... are about to. Zorno's cool, we're trading away, so we don't need to do any upgrades to, and I believe we're good. Unless one of these wants to collect income. I mean, we could, but I'd rather grow a lot of those, so I think we're okay. I'm missing out on them for now. Wulfrik, stay here. We're gonna level you up in case all the Skaven decide to attack you. And I'd be perfectly happy if they did. Revered by the tribe, I think. Let's power up all the Marauder units in the army. What about you? Alright, ooh, Pit of Shades at last, that I'm very happy about. And the Skinwolf Werekin, the personal assassin of Wulfrik, for anyone he deems not worthy of a challenge. Skinwolf buffs... Let me go for Colossal Strike first. 30% HP increase. Ooh, that's pretty good, especially with Unstoppable on you. Let's spam that first, just because you already have a... You're going to have a massive amount of HP, and with the regeneration, that'll be very nice. I probably could have gotten Feral and Honored, but whatever. I got excited. I'll just try to get Feral and Honored up and running next time. Sirtha's already leveled, and I don't believe we need to level anybody else. The only, I suppose, issue would be if Vlad decides to attack us. He's got to know we're coming for a Drakenhof. But anyway, end turn. Well, let's see what we can see. Alrighty, will they go for Lamandal? Would be unfortunate to lose all of these trolls after ferrying them all the way over here. Archie will sue for peace once again, but alas for him, that's not going to happen. It's vassalage or destruction. At least for you. Wulfrik's decided to take up the mantle of ever chosen, and... Faderife, you are going to be intercepted, so we'll auto-resolve you. This is obviously not worth fighting. But we will take the free money. Will the other Skaven army attack us? No. But where will they go is the question. Alright, so they decided to move down here to Karak Vlag, which is interesting. Astrogoth is marching up here. I'm not entirely sure where he's going, unless he wants to declare war on the Cool, which wouldn't be so great. You can actually reach Karak Dum from here. I'm wondering whether we should use you to do it or pop you into... Okay, you know what? Let's see what's actually in Karak Dum, and then we'll figure it out. Amateur discovered and been killed in battle, and been killed in battle, sort of striking Varig's Beast Tamer, Creator, ready for duty, Olaf Hilmarsson. He's a high level. I don't remember why I... Huh. Oh, it's because you have Witnessed Glory. Yeah, okay, I see it. Alrighty, technology researched, good. You. Ormgard Agnarsson. Let's see what we're looking at here. Well, they've got a garrison. They do. Might actually be worth fighting. And with Wulfrik, isn't not auto-resolving. You know what, I'll think about that. You maintain the siege. Let's see what else we have as options in this particular turn. Now, if Bak is going to keep moving, he might try to go for Temple of Heimkel or Nevkazi, neither of which are going to be able to defend themselves. Karak Vlag is also relatively light in defenders, but Slith should be able to hold the walls with her bleed-causing units, especially as this army isn't particularly strong. Also love to steal that Executioner's Axe, that'd be very nice. Anyway, for now, we'll leave this part of our territory alone. Elspeth moved away. Marienburg has one more turn until they've got walls up and running. Alright, I wasn't expecting to fight through the walls again with Sirth. Oh, he has no siege attacker, meaning... Well, maybe we can draw Boris out into the... Alright, let's try this. Oh, Elspeth's right there. Oh, I see what she's doing. She's going around to try to go after... Oh man, I guess I shouldn't have upgraded Long Yi. Well, not much we could do about it. Oh well, not a big deal. Did his ambush get foiled, or did he just fail? I don't know. You... Let's see, what would happen if Elspeth came here? I'm not sure that Surtha would win the fight. But nonetheless, I suppose what would happen, she could also attack Heros, but, well. We'll see. Heros, level yourself up just in case. You have Norse Resilience, so I guess you get 1 point in... I'm gonna say Melkoths for this. More likely than not, we'll be using these guys to cast, if we do cast, though using the death magic against Elspeth seems kind of insulting, but anyway. Well, nothing else we could do. You have most of your stuff. You don't have an enchanted item, but do we have any items that we can actually give you? Most of our items have been distributed at this point, and I don't really care for the Marauder loot bags. Do we have a potion of toughness or something, maybe? What do we have here? I don't see one. Alright, let's get rid of the Scroll of Blast and the channeling stuff. Maybe we can get something. Like so. Sort of anti-heroes, a nice find, but not... Ooh, actually, I know who this is going to. Biting Blade and Shrieking Blade. What about you two? Another sort of anti-heroes. I mean, it's a good weapon, but not what I was looking for at this exact moment. Yeah, alright, so it looks like no healing potions or anything like that for Surtha, and he's definitely going to need it. The Sword of Anti-Heroes I would like to give to Mr. Olaf Fimerken, because the magical application on this, it applies both to his magic, or to his range and his melee attacks, which gives this sort of, if not double value, more value. It would be even better if it had a contact effect, but maybe we can find a way to get him one. Alright, and speaking of Olaf... I mean, I should be doing this in order, but you're still going north to Khazad Urkulaz. And you're still falling. Oh my lord, what the heck? I didn't realize you were so badly damaged. Sorry, Hama, I should have let you heal. My bad, buddy. My bad. And you, because you're a Savage Chief, are probably going to form a Cornate army. With Berserkers. Ooh, Lamandal, you, by the looks of it, are close enough to Throggy, so we're gonna pop into Essen right here. Or is it Waldenhof? Wait, Essen, Waldenhof. I think Waldenhof will make us a little bit more cash. Yeah, there we go. 523, much better. Then Lamont, and I guess to some lesser degree Morkaka. You can start moving down here. We'll need to trade units. What do we keep in Throggy's army? I mean, he does get a lot of mileage out of the Fimir, but I feel like maybe we should put the elite, or the more elite Fimir into the other stack. Either way, he has to get the trolls. The Norscan Ice Wolves maybe can go to Morkaka as well. Anyway, go to Throggy's army right now. See if I can do this right. Alright, so you're going to get 2 Feral Manticores in place of the Norscan Ice Wolves, as these will eventually be replaced by Frost Dragons, but we won't have access to them for another, I don't know, like 10 or 15 turns, because they're tier 4 rather than a tier 5, so it shouldn't be that difficult. The regular Norscan Trolls can replace the... Well, we could just take out either the Marauders or the Fimir Stalkers, but you know what? I think these are high-level Fimir Stalkers, and Morkaka can get them for cheap, so I think we'll give them to her. And at least this is relatively even. And the regular Marauders we could either just trade or delete later on as needed, when Throg has whatever else he needs. It's not like we're going to bother giving Morkaka the Marauders when she should be using Fimir spam. Alright, I think that's looking pretty good. Leadership is still very, very low in the Norse controls, but hopefully we can fix that up. Like with you, Slithcastling. In fact, we might even pop you into Throg's army and use you to sort of level them up. Alrighty, you know what? I think I don't know whether we are going to get a battle this turn, so what we'll do is we'll actually fight this one with Wulfrik. Break siege for a second. Please tell me you can still reach it. Good. Oh, but if we're keeping it, we're probably not sacking it, are we? It is worth, ooh, 7k. I mean, that's a decent amount of sack value. It's probably more than we'd pay for the upgrades. Yeah, maybe. Alrighty, Wolfie, let's level you up and let's get into it. You, sir, have stand or die. You're probably gonna have at least some skin wolves, so Icy Wrath is still useful to you. I don't know whether we'll get fueled by war, but let's get a natural healing for now. Gotta keep an eye on his points as he will run out. I really also want to get that Scarred Vet to get him even more HP. I think we can get it up to 20k. Which will be very nice. Maybe not Kugath level, but certainly approaching it. You are going to get another point in Pit of Shades, because it's an amazing spell, and we'll be using it many a time. And now it's time to fight. Wulfrik, go. I've got some good stuff here. They've got some storm vermin, they've got death globes and poison winds, and because it doesn't have a defensive structure... Oh, I wish you didn't attack it from this side. Come on, whatever. Because it doesn't have a defensive structure, we should still be good. Go. Alrighty, here we go. I don't imagine this battle will pose any kind of issue to us, but who knows? They do have some elite units, those death globes and poison winds, if let do their thing, can certainly be quite dangerous. And in fact, we want to clear them out as much as possible so the searing doom will come down upon the rats. Looks like about half of the HP, maybe a little bit less, 40% of the HP taken off of both the death globes and poison winds. They are still staying up there, but for now, not a concern. We're gonna go directly for the gatehouse with Wulfrik and our single entities, but we'll head the Marauder champions that are summoned up the wall. If they take a few hits from the death globes or poison winds, then it's a summoned unit that does it, and we don't really care over much. As we close the distance with the enemy army, we should still also be able to get a few casts off. As in some magics. There we go. Wulfrik activates his Sea Fang, which, well, probably does a decent bit of damage. It does bounce off and hit him twice, but the enemy was sort of blobbed up in not a line. On the bright side, though, they did get knocked around quite a bit more by the Gehenna's Golden Hounds, which obliterate a couple of the enemy units. Gate is now down by about half of, or not even half, about a third of its HP, so we still have a little bit more work to do there. However, we are starting to climb up the walls and we'll soon be able to engage with at least some of the enemy units. Now, let's speed it up a little bit once more. Looks like a few more rats will get summoned, but we're climbing the walls now. Marauder champions about to be joined by berserkers and other units, as we can simply send other units up to climb as well. It does look like a few of the enemy units will open the gate and the death globes will start attacking. That's not so great for us, as they'll do a massive amount of damage to the Maws of Savagery if we let them. Got to start clearing them out as soon as possible. And the Marauder hunters, I should say, with the javelins have arrived. And the berserkers are docking their ladders as the javelins start ripping into the clan rats up on top of the battlements. And Manny the Mammoth has made his way through the line of the enemies, by virtue of not getting stuck on the other side of the gate, but rather the gate breaking down. Another Gehenna's Golden Hounds will herald the arrival of Wulfrik and his mammoth, who will batter his way through sling and through poison wind and through blood and flesh as he heads towards the enemy lord, who's in here somewhere. There we go. Damn, that is a big old net, isn't it? I'm not sure that there's a big enough net like that to hold down a mammoth. Anyway, looks like the enemy warlord is pretty much done, and our berserkers had only just begun to climb. Fortunately, though, there are other rats to work our way through. Plague monks and the Maws of Savagery exchanging some blows. Skinwolves once again continuing to look absolutely gigantic, as is appropriate, of course. Nothing to say about this tactically, to be perfectly honest, as, well, we just got to wait it out while we destroy all the enemy units, one by one, rat by rat, especially the Plague Monks, and due to their unbreakability. But at least the mammoths are applying plenty of their splash damage, and it is going decently well. Gonna send some Marauder champions through the gate as well, just to try to bring down those monks that a little extra bit faster. And yeah, certainly the monks are putting on a good show. They're not going down nearly as quickly as we'd perhaps like. I don't know what that ability was. Oh, it was poison on Wulfrik. Damn, that was a wide effect. Another Gehenna's Golden Hands, just hitting the one unit right now, but it is a Storm Vermin unit with halberds, so probably the most threatening unit that the enemy could have, as it could in theory damage our Maws of Savagery or Mani or something like that. Most of the enemy army has broken at this point. They do have the Plague Claw catapults firing at us, but fortunately only firing at the Marauders that are the summoned variants, so they can keep it up. Every single Marauder, well, none of the Marauders' deaths will matter. Alright, Icehorn Marauders moving in their dark armor with their blue sort of belts and whatever, looking pretty good. And the Clan Rats were summoned into the wrong place, that's for damn sure, as they're not going to survive too long after this. Alright, and we're only a few turns away from starting to get those Marauder champions for Wulfrik, so this army will change rather shortly for the much, much stronger. Not that I haven't been happy with the Berserker performance, but we want a Berserker army of its own, and these guys are going to make up the first units of it. Mani the Mammoth, and the Maws of Savagery, together with our mages, are making their way forward, knocking around some... Ooh, hello, there's Seafang coming through them as well. Some Night Runners. Oh, Clan Rats. I thought I saw Night Runners. I guess I'm wrong. There's some Gutter Runners here, and some more Gutter Runners, no Night Runners. Good job, Ruinous. Anyway, the last of the remaining units are here by the looks of it, and hey, we even got reinforcing a Lord, who is attempting to lead the Maws of Savagery forth. We're trying to ignore the halberd-wielding Storm Vermin to hit the enemy death globes that are behind them. Certainly don't want them to continue doing their thing. Alright, the Slingers continue to do their work, but they shouldn't be too threatening, at least I hope. Although I guess the annoying aspect of if we take too much damage on the Mammoth, it'll start the next battle, and I guess every battle, damaged, and when it starts damaged, it starts the battle off in Rampage, which I still think is silly. I swear it didn't used to do that. Did it used to do that? Did anybody remember if it used to do that? I don't think so, but I could be misremembering. I just don't remember a unit going on Rampage as soon as the battle starts, but maybe I haven't played too many factions with rampaging units for far too long. Anyway, with that, Clan Ferric's last Bastion falls and the faction will be pretty much destroyed, or at the very least, down to no settlements. Alright, pretty fun fight, and because we now have an ability on all of our heroes, or well, except for the Balefiend of Shadows, but we got a pretty darn nice kill distribution. Wulfrik getting 614 kills, 369 on the Werekin, and plenty on the Sorcerer of Metal, just because of those lovely Gehennas and Searing Doom spams. Very nice. We got a decent amount of cash, 2.7k, and I guess since we are recruiting, we are still going to sack the place, and stop moving. And then... Causes fear, causes terror, Kurgan Chieftain, nice, and come from sacking settlements. I gotta double check that we actually have one on Wolfie, which we do. The Roggy I think has no room for one, but I do gotta double check. I'm only like 59% sure. 10% short of truly sure. We have the Barbarian, which is a post-battle loot guy. We can't get rid of the Mountain Scout. Is plus 5% post-battle loot better than the... what was it again? I forgot the name of the thing. It wasn't the Berserker, it wasn't the Marauder Brute, it was... no, it was the Kurgan Chieftain. We have one on Olaf. 10% sacking. I mean, if we want to keep his unique ancillaries, then we probably... And I don't want to get rid of any of the movement range ones, so yeah, I think we'll give this one to Surtha Ek instead, which does not have one. So, Kurgan Chieftain for Surtha. Surtha being a Varg, I guess it would amuse him to have a Kurgan serving under him, I guess. Anyway, Buck. Alright, Slith, we're going to pop you into Karak Vlag. In theory, you will have no settlements remaining after this, so... Also, you don't need to be on a chariot there, Wormguard. Norscan Warhorse for you. Karak Dum. Oh, I should have used Stigazling to leech a little bit of that XP, but too late now. Anyway, we'll see where Buckpuck proceeds after this. Wulfrik, you're going to head southward. And I guess another question is, are you so damaged? Are you so damaged that you can't do a monster hunt? You are damaged, but at the same time, aren't we all a little damaged? Anyway, I think we'll do the monster hunt. Why the heck not? Let's do the other stuff, whatever we have to do this turn first, and then we'll deal. It's been too long. Aura of Chaos. Probably not super needed on you. I would, however, like Onslaught. We do occasionally use Final Transmutation. Let's get that first, though. Mostly because we can use Final Transmutation to stop jerks from running away, just in combination with Wulfrik. You can get the other Feral and Honored, and I believe we are good to go. Alright, and if you get too heavily damaged via the Monster Hunt, you can move into Karak Dum since you have a tiny bit of movement remaining. Yes. Good, Ruinous, good. Alright, Surtha Ek is good where he is, Thragi is good. We are going to have to still move the Tech Thief, pick a Tech, and... okay, you can steal from SALZENMUND. Really need to get some more capacities for these guys. Oh, Festus. Hopefully he doesn't declare war on... well, I don't really care about any of these territories. I do want all of Norsca, though, and... okay, Steel Tech. Success, good. If he declares war on Elendilling, that might be a problem for us. Oh, well, we'll see. We can always hopefully trade him stuff for it. Technology. So we have the vampire count thing. We're not going to Catha anytime soon. Skaven Blight, Nagron. Lothern might be somewhere that Wulfrik stops by on his way south. Wood Elves are a little bit far, Dwarfs are a little bit far, and Greenskins are a little bit far. Alright, then we can ignore that, and I think we'll go for one with the Beasts, because I want to unlock the second level of Monster Hunts. Frankly, we should unlock all the levels of the Monster Hunts ASAP, and then start powering up everybody else. Ooh, Casualty Punishment for Trolls, I like it. I prefer melee defense for them, and ooh, melee attack, melee defense +4/+4 for Marauders faction-wide. There's definitely a bunch of techs that we will be wanting to get. And even more melee defense for Marauder Champions, which, considering this also applies to Marauder Champions, means a +8 melee defense. They're going to be very, very tough to deal damage to, eventually. Anyway, that's good. Building. And then we'll jump into the Monster Hunt, a Lair of the Troll King, get you back up and running after falling to those jerks. The rest of this is fine. Gormadni Mountains, let's get you that Fur Trader, whatever it's called. You are fine as you are in terms of your commandments. River Linsk, you can go into Clan Enclave. First City, let's keep upgrading you. Skull Road, let us upgrade the Beast Tanner here. Repair Karak Dum, we don't technically need the Sparring Fields, but we'll... yeah, I mean, not in a capital, at least not right now, so we will delete you, in fact. And Zorna's Gold one more turn until you can be traded. 97. As long as Grimgor gets stronger, you will want to confederate even more, be vassalized even more. We're working on it, getting there. I'm still very concerned about where you're going, though. I hope he doesn't declare war on Archie. Oh man, this guy's gonna... okay, hopefully he doesn't take too many territories from our corny little friends. Well, there's not much we can do about it for now. Anyway, Monster Hunt time, the SALZENMUND Soul Eaters. You reach the edge of the forest, having taken on dozens of captives on the way. These unfortunates will serve as living bait to lure the Soul Eaters out, who will likely be accompanied by the vicious beastman herd they march with. The hostages are chained up and hammered to stakes upside down by their ankles, deliberately drawing their blood. The beasts will surely catch the scent, and it will be hard for them to resist the lure of injured, defenseless prey. From a safe distance, you watch the doomed hostages as their screams echo between the trees. Out of nowhere, a frighteningly large huge tide of beastmen suddenly emerges from the thickets, gorily devouring the victims, ripping them piece from piece, limb from torso. Then, almost as quickly as they'd appeared, they're gone. The scene of carnage and bloodshed is immediately surveyed, and 2 pairs of hoof marks are found amongst the gore bodies, much larger than that of even the largest Cygors ever seen. Your bounty is here. You give the order to march directly into the dark, uninviting wood, following the enormous tracks. The Forest of Shadows shall give up its prize. The SALZENMUND Soul Eaters will be yours to sacrifice. Good. Teleport. And, well, this doesn't seem too much of a problem, but the fact that it says close victory and medium casualties is a concern. Plus, just like I vaguely remembered the battle for the Frost Dragon, Frigastrex, I vaguely remember these guys, and I think they have something about their... They have something about their attacks that make them a lot more devastating. I don't remember exactly what it is. But I guess we're about to find out, go. Perhaps the scariest of all giant humanoid monster species, Cygors are some of the angriest creatures to roam the old world. Well, they haven't met me. The SALZENMUND Soul Eaters are a pair of Cygors even bigger and stronger than others of their kind, making them amongst the most difficult monsters to hunt.
Do not take these behemoths lightly, my lord, for they are no ordinary Cygors. They hurl clusters of boulders with frightening speed, and will do so with reckless abandon. They are soul eaters, so it may be difficult to wield magic against them. Difficult, but not impossible. Like all Cygors, the brothers see the winds of magic through their single eyes, which causes them to be in a constant state of fury. Go forth and take the angry beasts down.
Alrighty, here we go. Looks like the enemy is fairly far distant from us in the start of the battle, and we've got to watch out for those big ol' boulder attacks. Let's see the first one. Gonna fly in towards the Fenrir's Chosen and Maws of Savagery, which we Vanguard deployed to try to stop this thing from firing on the rest of our army. These things, as I recall, are effectively like a Hellstorm. Oh my, oh no. Oh, I didn't think it would knock the hero down. That's not so great. First hit takes about 20%, 25% HP, about 20% HP up the Maws of Savagery. Not so great, and oh. This may have been a mistake. I may have underestimated this thing, and we'll suffer for it, but I guess we'll see. And just keep on going, I guess. Head forward, and oh, another hit into the Maws of Savagery. This is probably gonna hurt as well. They're down to, what, close to half HP now? Huh. It doesn't seem to activate, or it doesn't seem to hurt its own allies, which also ain't so great for us. On the bright side, the Fenrir's Chosen has reached the Cygor. The Cygor is attempting to escape, and there is a second little mini Cygor attacking us as well. Fenrir's Chosen is going to keep attacking this thing and slowing it down a little bit with the old frostbite attacks, while the Maws of Savagery have unfortunately gotten surrounded and, well, pretty wrecked. We're going to pop the Gehenna's Golden Hounds right on top of them to try to allow them to escape, but it looks like the darn Razor Gores are going to give chase. Don't underestimate Razor Gores. They're a very, very powerful, almost OP unit for their cost and effectiveness. Kind of spammed them a little bit last time I played Beastmen, but yeah, they're good at pretty much everything, and I think these ones are super buffed as well, just judging by the insane amount of damage they have. There must be something the Cygor is doing for them. Interesting. Well, either way, speaking of Cygors, the Beasts of Tashanar have found the little one. I believe this is just a regular Cygor, not one of the super Cygors. And by the looks of it, it is taking quite a bit of damage, both from the Beasts of Tashanar, which are anti-large and distracting it, even though I'm sure they're taking damage, and a little bit of extra damage from those throwing axes. Wulfrik is still heading towards the enemy. 2 minutes in, we've been crossing from this side of the map to this side, and it does look like we've done decent damage from Fenrir's Chosen to the SALZENMUND Spirit Eater? I thought it was Soul Eater. Well, whatever. But it looks like Fenrir's Chosen is starting to take damage. Fortunately, Wulfrik is nearly here. There are Harpies and there are Razor Gores in his way. He smashed his way through the enemy piles of Minotaurs and is ready to head towards the enemy Lord. In the meantime, the rest of our army is moving in. Our Marauder champions holding off some Minotaurs. This is, of course, the summoned unit, and I expect they will absolutely get wrecked here as they are getting attacked by Razor Gores at the same time. But they're serving their purpose. Wulfrik has reached the enemy Lord, and a couple of hits in, and the SALZENMUND Spirit or Soul Eater, what have you, is pretty much done for. Still a pretty big model, though. It could definitely smash that boulder right onto the Howdah and onto Wulfrik on top of that mammoth. Fortunately, the first one goes down, but as it does, reinforcements arrive with the second SALZENMUND Soul Eater. Oh, they're both called Soul Eaters. This one's called the Shade Eater, and the other one's called the Spirit Eater. I see what you're doing, game. Anyway, Beasts of Tashnar are pretty badly damaged and are still chasing off that little mini Cygor. I mean, all the Cygors are big, but you know what I mean. Anyway, while Wulfrik heads towards the second Lord. Fortunately, the portion of the army that split away to try to attack us is in pretty bad shape as well. Under the ministrations of those, I keep wanting to say whalers. Marauder hunters with javelins. That's it, that's the one. And, of course, Manny helping out a little bit. Marauders and Marauder hunters reckon those Minotaurs, but there are plenty more where those came from. And the second part of the battle will commence. The Marauder champions that were summoned are in bad shape. Wulfrik is still fighting the second SALZENMUND Soul Eater. I believe Fenrir's Chosen had to back off lest to get too badly damaged, while the rest of our units are facing off against the rest of the enemy army. Definitely have to watch out for those Razor Gores. Of course, have to watch out for the old javelin in the back from your allies. Yeah, just like that Berserker got javelin in the back, but that's part of life. And ooh, it looks like the Soul Eater does manage to get one of its attacks off and damage a sort of central portion of our army. Wulfrik is still fighting, and by the looks of it, that's going to take a fair while. Manny is damaged, and some of our Marauder lines are starting to take damage as well. Which ain't so great, but by the looks of it, we are still holding. Even if several of our units are very badly hurt. I think the Maws of Savagery actually got chased down and destroyed by that unit of Razor Gores, but there isn't really much we can do about it. Alright, the Javelins, of course, still being very critical to this win. Soul Eater down to just a fraction of its HP now. The Fenrir's Chosen comes in to help and gets brought down to about 15% of its HP, but so does the Soul Eater fall. Wulfrik now have to contend with some Bulgors here. Fairly elite army for the second monster hunt. If this is how many elites there are in the second monster hunt, I do have to wonder how many there are in the others. Alright, well, it looks like those Bulgors are pretty much out, and finally the enemy army will break, and the battle will be ours. Tons and tons of damage on pretty much everyone. We're certainly going to need a proper heal, and oh, the Bulgors are still fighting. Not for much longer, unlike the Soul Eater, who did enough of an HP pool to tank Wulfrik for a little while. I don't think these guys are going to manage it. There they go. Now they'll shatter, and the battle will be ours. Hey, look at that. This little herdstone, or these two herdstones, had the little skull effect that the Skull Storm had, little soul skull thing. Oh, they got a nice big old Beastman horn up here as well. Who built the big old horn for the Beastman is what I'd like to know. Were there Beastmen sitting there, making it into something you can, well, blow? But anyway. Oh, all right. Yeah. Well, Wulfrik saw the challenge, and he damn well did find one here in the SALZENMUND Soul Eaters. They did great work. They absolutely or actually one of them absolutely obliterated the Maws of Savagery, a regiment of renown with skinwolves, and that was by chucking rocks at them. Considering these are armored skinwolves, a few models, and it was just generally impressive how much damage these guys dealt. Good job. And of course, they took a while to get for Wulfrik to deal with them. Now, the loss of the Maws of Savagery isn't too big of a deal. We were originally going to trade those to Throggy anyway, so I guess now is the time. And we could also, since we just leveled up to level 30, that should unlock Soul Crusher, or whatever the big old mammoth thing is. So we could probably use that. So sacrifice captives. Yes. Alright, Giant Saigo Eyeball. What does this give us again? Spell resistance, Doom and Darkness, leadership reduction to enemies, Curse of Anra here, speed, armor reduction, and melee attack. It's not so bad. Ambush success chance faction wide. I'm wondering who we should give this to. And this feels like it might be a fairly nice item to have for our ranged army, as the Curse of Anra here will work fairly well with them, reducing enemy accuracy in a possible range shootout. The other option would be to give it to Sirtha Ek and protect his chariots a little bit more. The chariots are probably not going to be susceptible to rain or to spell damage, or at least they probably won't be targeted so much by spell damage, so that probably isn't as useful. I will think about it. They're both decent options. Oh man, that gave us more plunder. We gotta spend that plunder again. And more importantly, it did give us 10,000 gold as well. We will accept that, and we will once again give this to the Crow. Oh, this also gives us construction time reduction for buildings. Damn, I should have done this first and then done the building, because... Okay, well, we're gonna have to redo a couple buildings just to make them build a little bit quicker. I'm actually curious, what do the other things do? Income from rating and weapon strength, income from all buildings, wins a magic cost for stuff, and serpent is reload time and sacking settlements. Once again, I think the Will of the Crow is the best one. Well, either way, sacrifice to the Crow. Alright, and Soul Crusher War Mammoth. Oh, and we got the Ice Forged Legion. Oh, this thing's obnoxiously good. Oh man, I might actually prefer this to the Soul Crusher. Oh, now here's a question. Okay, well, we'll put Soul Crusher in Wulfrik's army. Here's the question. First of all, what do you do? Bone Cracker, leadership, melee defense, speed, and armor reduction. That's nice. You have enrage for yourself should you take damage. But you're a regular War Mammoth rather than a War Shrine War Mammoth. That doesn't necessarily mean that will keep you here. Here's the thing. While we will probably put you into this army, in fact we will do so right now, or the Iceforged Legion. I'm just wondering whether we should put the Iceforged Legion in the all-ranged army instead. The thing that's making me consider putting it in Wulfrik's army is this. Wulfrik is the only one who killed Malachi, and Slayer Engineer, and gives you missile strength plus 10% for artillery. We have one possible artillery piece in the Iceforged Legion, so that is what's making me unsure. It would probably work decently better in the ranged... Well, not work decently better. It'd probably be more needed in the ranged army, as it is a ranged army. And it'll allow us to get the enemies to come to us rather than moving towards them, and it'll allow us to... Yeah, I think it's more worth it in the other army. Wulfrik's gotta have his mammoths. Mammoths it is. Oh, 800 gold. Damn, you are an expensive big boy. Get a little bit of missile damage as well.
Who's next?
Anyway, Wulfrik, you're gonna move into Karak Dum. Heal up a little bit more. You certainly need it after that fight. That was a glorious fight. Well worth the hunt. Next up will be, what do we have here? The Traegard Mountain Cleaver. As creatures of chaos, dragon, ogres, shaggoths are a highly favorable sacrifice to the dark gods, but also extremely difficult to bring down. Their strength and power are proportional to their age, making the millennia-old Traegard Mountain Cleaver in particular a truly challenging target for the hunt. Beware the lightning. Challenge. What do we get? I think that gives us lightning and ooh, hello, character or a leadership effect. That's nice. That's real nice. That's nice for Throggy. Anyway, challenge. Yes. Honestly, I feel like they should. I feel like CA should rework the monster hunts a little bit. Just allow whichever army to take them. They're not really quest battles. Any army should be able to pick the quest to do the monster hunt. So we didn't have to. So we wouldn't rather have to necessarily use Wulfrik for that particular purpose. I think that would be a lot better because you could build up an army specifically to go on monster hunts while Wulfrik does Wulfrik things and seeks duels, or Throggy could go on those while Wulfrik, well, continues to do Wulfrik things. Anyway, speaking of Wulfrik doing Wulfrik things, let's get him more of Chaos for that missile resistance. Actually, could have used it in that battle a little bit. And you, Fimra. One more Pit of Shades, or should we get a point in Occam's Mind Razor? Oh, the base version. Hey, you know what? The base version is cheap. Let's get the base version. And sometimes we may need to power Wulfrik up, in theory. If not, possibly in practice, we'll see. Unnatural Thirst for you, sir. Alright, well done, Wulfrik, and, well, not the other little minion armies, because they didn't do anything. Now, we have the Will of the Crow, meaning... Let's take a quick look at what we built up here this turn, like you. Lair of the Troll King, now will be built in one turn. I really wish I didn't have to redo it, but that's my bad, guys. It's my bad. Alright, that's already building in one turn. This is fine. Eastern Oblast, one turn. Marches of Kurun, one turn. River Linska. Ha, Rarengrad. From 3 turns to 1. Beauty. Alright, River Urskoy is fine. Prague, 1 turn. Everything's 1 turn. 2 turns. 1 turn. Alright, at least the admin isn't much. I mean, it is Norsca after all. Next, I would want to build more Stalkers, but you know what? Wait, where are we here? You... Wait, what allows us to... Oh, we got one more turn. What about here? Okay, you can build Fimir Stalkers. Okay, good. What I would like to do is take a look at Throggy for a second. Now, assuming that we keep these 4 trolls, you'll be the Maws of Savagery. We'll need at least 2 Fimir, and then I'm forgetting something, aren't I? What am I forgetting? So assuming these 2 are Fimir, because we'll want a couple Fimir, one to make use of the Sundering Armor and one to make use of Throg's unique ancillary. If you're the Maws of Savagery, you 2 are Frost Dragons. What do we do with you 2? Oh, right, one of them should be either one of them is definitely going to be a giant. And we still have room for 1. Huh. Alright, I may be forgetting something, but I'm not sure what it is. Oh, maybe a Nurgle War Shrine, something like that. That'll be good for the, yeah, that'll be good for the pile of trolls. Even more healing. Yeah, definitely gotta try to get a Nurgle War Shrine in here. Alright, either way, temporarily, we'll need more Werekin. Here's the thing. You, via D-Rock, can get recruitment reduction for Fimir, but it's only by 2, or recruitment rank increase. It's only by 2. Nothing crazy. I'm wondering whether it's worth it to get a Fimir as a recruiter lord. Do you have anything for recruiting? Characters will share 25% experience earned between all other active lords. Oh, that's not bad. I think we'll use then one of you as a recruiter, even if temporarily. You have character skills already. I just want to double check that nobody here has anything that will give us bonuses for recruiting or any kind of management, essentially. I don't think that there would be. These are Norskans, after all. So, we'll use the Fimir Mirk, though you are stupidly expensive. We'll pop you into Fort Ostrosk. I like so. Panic. Wait, oh yeah. Let's do the Beast Lord. Recruit rank +2 for army. You're gonna be, Was I looking at heroes? Maybe I was looking at heroes. Oh, I was looking at you, Dregra, right? I was looking at somebody, anyway. Oh, there are 2 Dregras. Oh, for the game. Why you confuse me? Why are you doing this to me, game? I loved you. Anyway, you are not able to get D-Rock, unfortunately, until rank 5. But oh well, what you are able to do is get Serve or Die. And, since you're going to be a recruiter, we will give you the Whalers on the Moon, the Varg Beast Trainer, I get the Slave Worker, why not? Marauder Brute, Mammoth Tamer. I don't think anything else will help us with recruiting, will it? Collector... Oh, Cathay Slave Dancers, yes. -5% for all units. And Barbarian doesn't help, although the post-battle loot should be given to somebody. Alright, you're gonna be a recruiter. Agnar's. Yeah, alright, good enough. Then what I would like you to do is to start by getting a couple of Norscan Ice Wolves, because we're going to get some of those, and then get at least one Fimir in here. We will switch 4 to Strask. Well, actually, I was about to switch them to some of the chiefs, but it's only a +2 local recruitment. We'll wait. I want to transfer perhaps a couple of the Ice Wolves to somebody. Not so sure exactly how we're going to do it. 4 plus the Beasts of Tashanar, plus... we need to make room for 6 in one of these armies. Maybe we will have 2 Pathfinder armies. I just feel like this one is decent as it is, unless we replace all of these with those guys. But anyway, for now, you're good as you are. I don't think there was anything else that we needed to do this turn, or if there was, I am not remembering it. Slith can't recruit any more of the Fimir Stalkers, because she's not at Nefkazi anymore. Please don't go for Nefkazi. And I guess we're good. Alright. Siege equipment? Where's siege equipment? Oh, you know what? Let's build up the siege equipment. I don't think we'll need it, as in I think these guys will sally out and attack Cirtha. But why risk it, right? Yeah. I'm also thinking we need to research another one of these things, because the plunder is about to go down again. You are going to go for... Who are we likely to fight? High Elves, perhaps soon. Greenskins... I should have done that earlier. Well, I'm dumb. Let's go Butchering of the High Elves, I guess. More likely to encounter them in the short term, I think. Frankly, we'll probably encounter Grimgor again, but, you know, not in such short term. Oh. You'll actually be built up quicker because of the Will of the Crow. Lovely, lovely. Crow donut for us again. And... do we now spend the money? No, you know what? I'm still going to say no, because we're still recruiting. Let's end the turn and see what happens. Alright, Marienburg besieged. Astrogoth is, what, chasing Buck? Where Buck gonna go? Alright, there's Visalan and Nuln, and indeed they will attack us, but without Elspeth. Ooh, Boris, I get you're a self-confident kind of guy, but I don't think this was the move. I am, in fact, sure this wasn't the move. Go.
For the gods!
Alright, here we go. Cirtha's back, and I'd wager that Elspeth really should have brought her main army for this one. Sure, the enemy has a fairly large pile of units arrayed against us, but it's mostly infantry, and they're going to struggle against the chariots, whether they use those woods to protect them or not. Out on the leftmost flank, we've got the regular Marauder chariots leading the Ice Wolf chariots in. I might replace the regular Marauder chariots with Slaaneshi chariots in this particular army. I don't know whether we need so many of the regular types, because all of our heroes essentially are going to be on the regular Marauder chariots, and both mages plus Cirtha himself as well, so I don't know. You'll probably get a lot more mileage out of the Slaaneshi chariots. But anyway, speaking of Cirtha, he'll charge on in and annoy some enemy pikes and whatnot, but we'll back off rather than fight Boris with everybody around. The main purpose of this was to draw out at least a few of those enemy units and try to get them chasing us. Spirit Leeches are going to start on Boris, who's already lost about half of his HP. Gotta love the bound Spirit Leech in combination with regular Spirit Leech combo. Now we're going to use the shadow of this little cliffside that is watching us, incidentally, to hopefully corner and kill off Boris before the rest of his army can react, with most of his army being infantry-based. They're, by the looks of it, a little bit too slow to reach him. Now he does have a warrior priest. No, that's a Empire captain coming in. The 2 mages gonna help and surround Boris as well, hit him with the various debuffs. Soulblight dreaded, and we're missing Blinded, which is on one of these guys. Boris is going to book it on out of there with very little HP, and the rest of his army, surprisingly, not yet moving towards us. Works just fine for us for now, though Cirtha Ek has... what? Cirtha Ek miscast? What? Wait, how did that happen? Wait, miscast isn't like a... it's not like a... huh. I'm just wondering whether miscast is like an AoE effect that I never noticed before, because how does Surtha have miscast on him? He has no abilities. Maybe it is an AoE, but everybody was in like a blob. Why would only Surtha be hit by it? I'm not sure. But anyway, he didn't like that. He's down to about half HP, and once again, we could certainly use that regen on him, as he does have a tendency to get hurt. I'm gonna get that Shem's Burning Gaze out and do a little bit more damage to Boris, but he does still have 250 HP, and it is rising as the Middenland Runefang and does have regeneration on it. We are, however, still giving chase to him with our Shaman Sorcerer of Death, waiting on that cooldown to come off for the Spirit Leech to hit Boris again and to bring him down. Alright, that was way off cue, but you get the idea. Anyway, down goes Boris, and no escape for you this time, and we'll back up the rest of our heroes. I honestly thought the enemy would be very much annoyed and move towards us by now, and also, aren't they attacking us? Why is the enemy army refusing to move towards us? I don't understand. We have a nice position up on top of the hill, simply because I figured they would be attacking us since they sallied out of Marienburg. What's going on here? It wasn't some kind of interception, was it? They should be attacking us, right? Am I crazy? Somebody explain what's going on. But anyway, just like Boris before him, an Empire Captain moves towards us and is having, by the looks of it, a pretty bad day. The Wirkin and Surtha and our two mages are working on bringing him down. Of course, with mortar shells exploding around us, but that isn't too much of an issue for the heroes and lords. Alright, come on, a couple more hits and bring this Empire Captain down. The idea originally here was to try to kill off every single one of these single entities, simply so that, there we go, down goes the Empire Captain, simply so that they weren't able to escape off field after the main battle. Of course, this idea was originally partly because I was expecting the enemy army to actually attack us, but they're regrouping. They're not going forward. What the heck? Game, please. Why are you doing this? Alright, well, that sounds like... Oh, that's not good. Our Death Mage wanted to go forward, get a couple more Spirit Leeches on the other single entities, but it looks like the enemy handgunners got a wee bit upset about the whole thing, seeing their captain and their Lord Boris go down. I'm gonna get the Death Mage the heck out of there, as that's obviously not going to fly. And we'll just hide behind the hill once more. Enemy will reposition. I'm just going to speed this up a little bit until we can get the army to actually attack us. What's the point of sallying out if you're not going to, if you're not actually going to attack? Shem's Burning Gaze comes in and actually takes about half of the HP off the Ergig Jaeger Corps here, which is pretty solid. I'm not too big on magic missiles, especially short-range magic missiles, but it's decent. I mean, if we use magic missiles like the Gaze of Mork, something that has crazy range and can be launched from like halfway across the map, that's solid. But needing to be like this close to an enemy and within range of even the smallest range enemy unit, our shortest range enemy unit, it's just not super viable for a mage, even at the relatively low cost. The only well, I mean, we have the Shem's Burning Gaze in part because we wanted the associated blinded ability that particular mage has, not so much because of the Burning Gaze, but we'll use it because it's free. Anyway, another Empire Captain comes out and follows Boris and the first Empire Captain into death. We're gonna have to back up before we take too much damage to all that missile fire, and the enemy still refuses to attack us. We've already killed 426 of them with the various spells, and obviously a lot of their single entities, so at least one of their lords remain alive. It looks like we're actually going to have to march towards them, as they just don't want to fight. Bizarre. Oh, well, there's another Gehenna's Golden Hounds moving in. I'm using Gehenna's here instead of Searing Doom simply because the enemy army is, well, A, not blobbed up, and B, they'll dodge the Searing Doom. They'll just get the heck out of its way. And while they will try to dodge the Gehenna's Golden Hounds, the Vortex is, unfortunately for us, too unpredictable. Finally, it looks like the enemy army is sufficiently annoyed to start moving towards us. They will, of course, start hitting us with those mortars, but it does mean the Marauder Chariots are prepping for the attack. There they go. They've been hiding in the woods this entire time, both the regular chariots and the Ice Wolf chariots. and they should be able to do quite a decent bit of damage here. Of course, there was supposed to be a Weirkin with them, and it is going to move in to help. The Weirkin with that twisted flesh gives them additional armor and missile resistance, which the relatively fragile chariots certainly need. Alright, and in we go through the lines of enemy hunters and archers and whatever other infantry. They've brought the regular Marauder chariots will lead the charge because they're a little bit tankier, and then the Frostwolf chariots will follow on through. It might be a good idea to distract this blob of enemies. There is 5 units of range all in one blob, plus the pikes and the other pikes here, and they're not going to be super threatening to these chariots, so we could sort of just sit there and allow them to do the work. In the meantime, Cirtha's main stack is closing with the rest of Boris's main stack, though sans the Boris. And it's some good old-fashioned spear-on-spear action as pikemen face off against the Marauder hunter, or Marauder spears. Marauder spears just as long by the looks of it as the pikes are. Alright, and I'd wager the Marauder spears can outkill the pikes. They probably have a much higher melee attack, and then the pikes do. Alright, another Gehenna's Golden Hounds moving through the enemy range line, as well as the javelins dropping from up on high. The enemy got a little bit too close and are now in range of some of our range units. And they probably won't win a range shootout when actually in range of our units. And the enemy unit of handgunners here getting completely surrounded by Marauders to be ripped apart. The piles of enemy range units in the back having a very bad time in dealing with those chariots who just continue distracting them, preventing them from doing anything, and on top of that slowing them down with that frostbite. At least this portion of the battlefield is ours, and frankly, by the looks of it, both portions are about to be as well. Another Shem's Burning Gaze comes in and spreads itself out nicely, Slinashigiggle, to hit the enemy crossbows. I do like that change for the magic missiles, especially with multiple projectiles for damaging individual units, so that they're not outclassed as hard by other spells. Anyway, by the looks of it, with that, the battle is pretty much ours. There's still a few single entities here, and a wizard and a captain and a couple of range units, but by the looks of it, they are done. And the chariots will probably kill everything that they're chasing, especially the Ice Wolf chariots, and because these slowed down enemies are going to have a very difficult time escaping them. I wonder how their ammunition is. Let's see, they've been in the fight for a while. Alright, they waste about 20% of their ammunition, so they probably have enough ammunition for a full sustained battle. And likely wouldn't need any more. 54 melee attack starting to get pretty decent up there as well. Oh, they have rage on them as well. Huh. I hadn't realized. That's nice. And the melee attack buffs the physical resistance. That's all obviously helpful on the chariots. That's the Ice Wolf chariots. I assume the regular Marauder chariots have the same. Yeah, they do. And they also have Weather the Storm, which is also quite nice for the chariots, generally speaking. Alright, well, either way, the battle is ours. We're going to do our best to chase off. I was hoping to chase the enemy down sufficiently so that we could sack the settlement in this turn, but it looks like at least a couple units will unfortunately escape. Just a little bit too many, and, well, at least in part because they weren't willing to fight for like half the fight. But what can you do? Alright, very nice. So that worked out pretty darn well. We did nearly lose the sorcerers, partly due to being focused down by enemy range, but also partly due to those darn miscasts. But, well, there wasn't too much we could do about that. Just be a little bit more careful. 90k damage on the metal sorcerer and about 9k on the death sorcerer, who was spamming spirit leech, whereas the metal sorcerer was working on the non-single entities. Plenty of work out of our chariots as well. Once again, it seems the more regular Marauder chariots outdid the Marauder Ice Wolf chariots. I wonder why that is. They were all doing the exact same thing because we kept them together in a blob this time around. Interesting. Nonetheless, Cirtha is continuing to build his power base, and his chariots are particularly effective against the masses of enemy infantry. Scourge of Mankind, Sirthak, indeed. Alrighty, Bok the Lethal will request peace, but we're not going to allow it. He's going to besiege us here. Bastion Nightbane will want to trade, even though we are at war with Archaon, which is kind of funny. And there we go. Looks like we're good. Enemy is killed in battle, and Opal Amulet for Herosk, who probably doesn't need it, or at the very least will do something else. Sirtha was already on a chariot, but thanks, game. Ormgrim Foe Seeker. Does Sirtha now have 2 chariots? I wonder if they give him different stats. You have a Zealot. Who is Ormgrim? Alright, fine. And Settlement Besieged Karak Vlag. Technology researched for fighting elves, and just out of curiosity. Yeah, he does have 2 chariots. Alright, so... Marauder chariot... Or does he? Wait. 55. Seem to do the same thing. Alright, well, either way. Good for you, Sirtha. Anyway, with that, folks, we are out of time, and I'm going to have to call the episode here. Elspeth approaches Kurun, and we're going to have to try to keep it. Maybe if we sack it and march dance, we can get back to Kurun before she runs it down. And by sack it, I mean Marienburg. Maybe even raise it if we use heroes to do that. No, we wouldn't be able to. Well, might. Now we have to sack it, or else Sirtha will lose all his movement and won't be able to return to Kurun. Not that we super intend to keep it, but anyway, I digress. I'm calling the episode here. Next time we march up northward to destroy Archie, and then hopefully set Wulfrik to sail. Maybe vassalize the Chaos Dwarfs if we can manage to pull it off, as that would be ideal. And, well, try to hit Castle Drakenhof with Throg, who is very much nearing it. Stay tuned for more Wulfrik. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below, especially to Threshold. All glory to the algorithm. And thanks for watching.